and welcome to an episode of Clark Talks About Things and Stuff, where I talk about things and stuff. I understand that everybody's already gotten their Switch 2 video already out and, edited and, actually uploaded. Meanwhile, I was kind of going back and forth on if I actually should make this video, but I decided, why not? Let's talk about the Switch 2. The Switch 1 really was a console that really brought my channel to where it is today. As in, I probably wouldn't be an Xbox guy if the Nintendo Switch didn't piss me off. It was also my very first console with a capture button, so I could actually showcase my actual video game moments and all that kind of stuff. I made an entire Twitter account based on that, eventually deleted it because of angry responses, and, well, then I decided to produce stuff on this channel. What a journey it has been. And so, I think in tribute, I should talk about the Switch 2, at least a little bit. I also have a major gripe with the Switch 1 that it carries over to the Switch 2. But if you don't really care about what I have to say about the rest of the presentation, and more so what I think about the Switch 2 as a console, and of course my biggest problem with the Switch 2, definitely check the YouTube chapters and go accordingly. So, yeah. With all that being said, let's begin talking about the games for the console. First up is Mario Kart World, or as I like to call it, Mario Kart Forza. Now, I have really no experience with the Forza franchise. I literally only played Forza 5 very recently. However, Mario Kart World really does feel like that, being able to drive anywhere you want, having the races be on the map and all that, driving from race to race, it makes a lot of sense when you really think about it. And to say that they've definitely chosen some interesting choices for the character selection, I don't think I need to really say much more other than the Moo Moo Meadows cow randomly being in the game as a playable character. I don't get it either. That being said, I really do hope for this whole Smash Kart thing to kind of die. I really don't want that to happen. And it's like, oh, now we got Samus and we got Kirby and we got fucking Donkey Kong and Ness. And it's just like, no. We don't need that. Just make it Mario Kart, damn it. Even if you bring in some whack-ass choices. That being said, if I was to play this game, I'd still main Wario. But yeah, no, in a way, it does look pretty cool, especially in comparison to 8 Deluxe, which was a Wii U game repackaged. So, yeah, you know what? Whatever. It looks cool, I guess. It did seem like they kind of removed the anti-grav feature, but, in a way, that's fine. We've had it for so long. I think it's okay if we don't have it. Regardless, moving on to the next game, the next one they showcased was a new property known as Drag and Drive, or as I and other people have said, Paralympics Basketball. And with that statement, I'm not trying to say that it's wrong for Nintendo to try and do Paralympic stuff. It's just kind of weird how this is very personality-less, and it's just wheelchair basketball. It's kind of weird, and it's kind of going to be the ARMS, I bet, of this game console. It's just it's kind of weird. It does have a unique control function, which is why it exists. But again, I'll talk about that when I actually talk about the console. Next up is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. I mentioned this because of the SpongeBob level. Yeah. Let's be real here, though. The Doom trailer sold me on the game already. I just thought it was cool that they showcased more of that game there, so that was really nice of them. Thank you. Then we got a new Hyrule Warriors game, which, I don't know, is kind of weird in my opinion. I don't know. I thought that Hyrule Warriors wouldn't really be a thing after the first game, and here we are on the third. I don't even know where it even takes place in the timeline at this point, and neither do I care. And then, because Nintendo loves to spite me, they then decided to release GameCube stuff on Switch Online. I have nothing more to say about this, but I will talk about the controller in a second, again, when we talk about the actual console. Everything so far, though, has been just kind of okay, whatever, who cares. But we actually got an announcement for 3 and 4, and let me just tell you, I'm so excited for the release date for chapters 3 and 4. I will be making a video, or at least live streaming, me playing chapters 3 and 4. I will definitely be doing that. Definitely expect Deltarune videos, probably in May and June, because I am really excited for 3 and 4, and I've been purposely not really doing much Deltarune content for that reason. They then decided to follow up the Deltarune trailer with Borderlands 4. Oh joy. Look, all I really gotta say is hopefully it's not gonna be like 3 or New Tales or Tiny Tina's Wonderland or the Borderlands movie. Let's just hope this is an actual good Borderlands project. Like, goddamn, does this series need a win at this point? Next up, I want to talk about are the 2K games, which are just, you know, boring soccer and basketball or football or whatever the hell is actually featured in the trailer. I haven't watched it in a bit. But there is a question I have that doesn't really relate to anything. Where the hell are the Lego games? Seriously, I miss the Lego games so goddamn much. They made so many from 2010 to 2020. It was like you couldn't escape them, and I liked that. I liked the fact there were so many Lego games. And then just after Skywalker Saga, they just kind of evaporated. Traveler's Tales did. Granted, I do understand that the fucking Skywalker Saga was like very rocky development cycle, along with COVID, of course. But like, seriously, where the hell is Traveler's Tales at this point? And all the like unique Lego games like Lego Builder's Journey and Lego Brawls and all that crap, like Lego 2K Drive, that released like 2 years ago now. And it's like, where's anything? And I thought 2K was making like a Lego soccer game at one point. I don't know what happened to them. And last time I heard that that Traveler's Tales was doing anything Lego related was with Lego Harry Potter. But the thing is that last year they released a re-release of 1 through 4 and 5 through 7, which was one of the last Complete Views episodes I did. So it's like, is they actually going to make a 1 through 7 compilation Harry Potter game, and that's why they're so silent on it? Or are they doing something else? Does this company even exist anymore? I don't even know at this point, man. And I just want some information about the Lego games, goddammit. I miss them so freaking much. Anyways, back on topic. The next game that I want to talk about is Survival Kids. The reason on why I want to talk about this absolutely garbage looking game is because it completely overshadowed the Cyberpunk 2077 announcement, because the stream basically glitched out at that game.
It's terrible and scary in the road.
Stand by me. With a girl. Is it frozen? That's weird.
Good job. After, of course, all that, then they fixed the stream, and then they showed the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And it's still not on Xbox. Ain't that fun? But I did hear that they were going to be, you know, releasing it later on in the year, which is nice, but goddamn, it did not need to take this long. Screw you, PlayStation. Also, you know, nothing else really important happened from this point forward. You know, it's not like there was the first showcase of Silk Song or whatever. They were telling it that it was this year and all that, you know, whatever. Like, seriously, I'm surprised people even still care at this point about Silk Song. It's been so long coming, and shock of all shockers, as someone who made 2 different Hollow Knight videos, both of them which saying that I don't like the game, I wasn't very interested in Silk Song finally getting like its time in the shine. I just thought it was funny that it was being shown in a freaking sizzle trailer, and it wasn't actually like a very big announcement. It was just like, oh yeah, there's Silk Song right over there. I thought it was kind of funny. They also showed Fortnite in it. Oh my god, yes, my favorite Epic game. You know, I think the funniest part about them showcasing that it's going to be a launch title game is the fact that you had to announce that it would be a launch title game. I would honestly just infer that, like, come on. And before any of you fuckers ask, no, I am not playing Lego Fortnite. I don't care how desperate I get for the Lego games, I am not buying that shit. Realistically, not much more mattered after that. You had like a new Kirby Air Riders game, and it's like, I'm surprised anyone really cares. Like, it's another game that Sakurai is making and all that. That's cool and all, but like, a sequel to Air Riders? Really? Especially after you said that you were going to put fucking GameCube games on the Nintendo Switch online service. It's just like, why? Why are you making a sequel? It's a one-button game that everyone loves it for the city trial mode as opposed to the actual main races. That's what anybody even remembers about this game, so it's just like, I'm surprised anyone cares, to be honest with you. Last and most importantly, we have Donkey Kong Bonanza, or however the hell you actually say it. I think it honestly is a pretty cool game, especially considering the fact that, again, we haven't really had a 3D Donkey Kong since fucking forever. But yeah, basically, it does look really cool, and it also seems like everyone's going to be destroying the environment. Nintendo thought to themselves, what part of the game should we make destructible? All of it. Let's make it all destructible. And now I'm just waiting for the day that one of those gaming challenge YouTubers are all like, how much of Donkey Kong Bonanza can you destroy while also finishing the game? So yeah, that was pretty interesting, I guess. Overall, the Direct was really good because it actually showcased Deltarune 3 and 4 coming out. Yes! Granted, Toby has not said that the game was going to be coming to Xbox anytime soon, but I mean, if you're an Xbox person, you're also probably a PC guy. Let's be real here. Now that we're done through with all that, though, let's talk about the console itself. First things first, the name fucking sucks. I understand that a lot of video game consoles nowadays are just sequels to the previous console and all that, as opposed to an actually new console. But it's like, the Switch 2? Really? Like, come on. Give Xbox this. At least they decided to call it the Series X as opposed to the Xbox One 2. Obviously, the only reason why they didn't call it that was because, well, then the next console would be the Xbox One, 2, 3, and it would just be stupid at that point. Only at that point. Most of the improvements when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2 do seem to be just kind of software stuff. Not really a whole lot of anything actually intriguing. To be fair, though, it is very intriguing that a handheld console, when docked, can support 4K on a TV and 180p on a, portable screen, which is nice and all. But realistically, this is kind of like the Xbox Series X, where it is kind of like the previous console, the Xbox One, except that it's, a slightly more powerful console and all that garbage. And it's just like, yeah, it's gonna have specific games that you can't play on the previous console. Like, yeah, that's how it works. Hi, Editor Clark here, just showcasing again that I don't research my videos except when I'm actually editing them. So I found this little important information about the compatibility of Switch games to Switch 2. Banger title. Basically, there's gonna be a lot of no one really cares. It's gonna be mostly compatible. Which is kind of expected for a console like this. Again, like the Xbox the Xbox Series X can play Xbox One games and all that. But there are some unsupported titles in the Nintendo library. Not really that much when it comes to the partnering games, which is very interesting. Basically, those games that are not compatible the problem is that they require the Joy-Con to play as opposed to the Joy-Con 2. So automatically this is really stupid. First off, horrible name. Secondly, I never mentioned this in the video, I bet you that the sticks on the controllers are gonna drift. Hopefully this time it's gonna be less than half of the consoles as opposed to every fucking console, but still, a guy can dream. But yeah, basically, the games that really require the Switch Joy-Con to play are stuff like Ring Fit or 1-2 Switch or Everybody Switch. Mostly because the Ring was designed around the Switch 1 controller, and, these two have, IR motion cameras and all that. Same thing with Game Builder Garage, Switch Sports, WarioWare and Move It, and all these Labo shits that no one cares about. So, in a way, it is kind of weird how they removed the IR camera from the previous console, but I mean, I guess it's an unimportant feature anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Back to the video. Oh, and much like the Xbox Series X, it requires a special type of micro SD card in order for it to work. Because that was everyone's favorite part of the Xbox Series X, because you needed the stupid Seagate cards. But no, at least this one's a tiny little micro SD that's a little bit more affordable, but still, that's not nice. Granted, there is two different SD card slots and all that, but with the Xbox Series X, you can just put in as many fucking storage units as you want and it'll still work. So it's kind of a downgrade, I'll be honest. And another amazing novel concept that the Xbox Series X had was the disc system. You see, when you put a disc inside the console, you'd have to download the game digitally, which is just fantastic for the fact that you just want to play a freaking game on a disc. And then if you remove the disc from your console, it's going to yell at you to either uninstall the game or put the disc back in. So basically, screw you if you want to bring like Elden Ring, your physical copy of Elden Ring, to someone else's Xbox just to play the game. It's going to be ridiculous. The Switch 2 has that exact same feature, which that is just great. Thank you, Nintendo. Freaking A. Oh, but I haven't talked about the magical and mystical C button. It's a button, but it has the letter C attached to it. Unlike the N64, which had 4 C buttons, but that's not the same thing. So what exactly does the C button do on the Nintendo Switch 2? It's game chat. Yay? Question mark? You know how Discord and Microsoft basically allows you to cast your Xbox gameplay in a Discord call? Well, game chat, or the C button on the Nintendo Switch 2, basically does that, but it's not through Discord. It's through Nintendo's own proprietary garbage. And it's, like, confusing, because you need a Nintendo Switch Online subscription to use it, because of fucking course you do. And it's just like, why? Why would you do this? Why would you add this button to the controller? And not only is this button being added to the Joy-Cons for whatever fucking reason, it's also being added to the Pro Controller and the Nintendo Switch Online exclusive GameCube controller. And it's like, why? Will my Switch 1 controller fucking spontaneously combust into flames if I dare to attempt it without the magical fucking C button? Like, seriously, what is the point of this damn thing? Not helping is the image quality. Like, I understand it's supposed to run very choppily in order to try and, you know, keep up with your game and all that, make sure your gameplay is smooth, while also seeing everyone else's, but like, at that point, why even bother? It's just so bad looking. Especially when it comes to the camera. Because of course Nintendo is trying to sell you a frickin' webcam. And it looks so stupid connected to the console and all that. It's like, why are you doing this? This looks like garbage. There is a version that makes the camera look like a piranha plant, but that's not really helping the situation. I also do not trust that microphone to get my voice from all the way across my room and to also do noise canceling shit and all that, especially for like living room scenario stuff.
It can pick up your speaking voice clearly, even from a distance.
Look at this. Jump on here. Alright, let's keep going. Let's make a left right here. Let's make a...
When it's noisy around you, your voice will still come through clearly, letting you chat with ease.
How did you get hit by a boat?
I really doubt that that shit is actually going to work. Especially, again, with the camera, like, recognizing you and not the background behind you. Again, I don't trust that shit at all. Also, kind of like the Xbox Series X, you do have the ability to upgrade your Nintendo Switch 1 games for a price, because of course Nintendo is gonna nickel and dime you at that shit. Like, even Microsoft allows you to upgrade your Xbox One games with like just a little pop-up that says, hey, you can upgrade Lego Skywalker Saga into the Series X version for free. And it's like, okay, sure, whatever. And again, it's free. You don't require an extra purchase being made. Nintendo, on the other hand, is gonna nickel and dime the shit out of you for this. And that's for a lot of really strange reasons. So the deal is that Mario Party Jamboree, if you buy the Switch 2 version, has an entire other mode that doesn't even exist in the Switch 1 version that utilizes the camera and all that kind of stuff. It's really weird. It's just like, why did you even make this for the Switch 1 if you're just gonna do this? Like, it's an entire other side mode in the entire game. It just doesn't make any sense. And then you have Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which gets an entire side story for buying the Switch 2 version of the game. But then we have the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 releases. Which, first off, Breath of the Wild? Seriously? That game was a late Wii U title and a launch title for the Nintendo Switch. Why are you also making a Switch 2 version of this? I don't understand. Tears of the Kingdom may be a bit more salvageable, but seriously, a game from 2017 is going to be like one of your launch titles here? Like, come on, dude. So what the Switch 2 version of this does is that it improves the graphics and the frame rate, and that's about it. That's practically all you're getting. Oh, wait, no, except that you also get the Hyrule Notes section of the Nintendo Switch Online app, where it gives you Hylian Google Maps. Like, really? Imagine if Microsoft made like an open world game and then for the Series X charged you in order for you to get the new version on the Series X, but then they also added in some weird app mobility in order for you to get a fucking Google in-game Google Maps that say, turn right at the next Bokoblin Tower. It's like, what the hell is this? Like, what are you doing exactly? And it only gets worse because the Nintendo Switch 2 version of Metroid Prime 4, which, again, I'm surprised even exists at all, is going to be getting, you know, boosted frame rate, boosted graphics, yada yada yada. But it's also getting mouse controls with the Joy-Con, because I failed to mention that. It is one of the cooler aspects of the Joy-Con 2, but again, Joy-Con 2, really? And that's it? That's all for the Switch 1 to Switch 2 version of Metroid Prime 4? Just an extra thing that your controller can already do? Really? Oh yeah, and apparently screw you if you think that ZA is going to be any different between Switch 1 and 2, because literally all that's going to be different is the frame rate and the textures. Again! But you get nothing else when it comes to Pokemon Legends ZA. What? And the very worst aspect about this is that according to the Nintendo UK like helpline and all that, they're saying that the Switch 2 version of these games are going to be the Switch 1 cartridges with a download code to the Switch 2 stuff. It's like, what? Like, seriously? Like, seriously? That's what you're doing for this, Nintendo? Really? Really? Okay then. Like, God forbid you have the actual Switch 2 part actually on the cartridge or anything like that. But according to Nintendo, again, certain games like Elden Ring will be only available through that downloaded cartridge thing that I mentioned before. So again, you have to basically download the entirety of Elden Ring onto your Nintendo Switch 2 console before you even play it. Come on, man. And that's especially not good because the internal storage for the Switch 2 is 256 gigabytes. Now, that is way better than the Nintendo Switch's like 36. But like at the same time, like we have micro SDs that can go up to like 1 terabyte. Why is the Switch like so small on like file size wise? It just doesn't make any sense to me. But the worst game that was revealed when it comes to the Switch 2 is the Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Now, this is a launch title for the Nintendo Switch 2. And let me just put it out here right here and now. Making this a paid-for product is so fundamentally stupid. Like, 1-2 Switch was horrible. Fucking atrocious. But at least it was a game. You're telling me that the Face Raiders equivalent of the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be a paid-for product. Especially considering the fact it's mostly just walls of text that are just lore-dumping bull crap that you can do on the Nintendo Switch. It's ridiculous. Like, why would you do this? I don't typically give PlayStation accolades on this channel, mostly because I never really bought into their consoles, but at least with Astro's Playroom and all that, it was not only a game that showcased the power of the PS5, what you could do with the haptics controller, and all that other crap. It actually was a game, an actual 3D platformer that was a lot of fun, so that when Astrobot actually came out, people loved it, and it even won like a whole bunch of game awards and all that. Meanwhile, Nintendo here is just making very questionable decisions with a thing that should have just come with your console for free. Remember, Astro's Playroom came with every PS5 for free. So it's like, what the fuck is Nintendo thinking here? I don't get it. To wrap up this whole games fiasco, basically I hope there is a version of Mortal Kombat 1 for the Nintendo Switch 2 that actually gives the player models actual playable looking models. To round out this section, let's talk about the price of the console, because Nintendo's been facing a bit of backlash for it. The console itself is going to be $450 USD, or with a bundle with Mario Kart World, is going to be $499. Which, by the way, that's actually a steal, because, well, first off, obviously, the Switch 2 does not come with any games if you buy it for the $450 price tag, but Mario Kart World is going to be $80 digital and $90 physical. Jeez. Now, once again, I do have to compare this console to the Xbox Series X, because, again, it is kind of the same in a lot of different ways, especially the price tag. That being said, the Xbox Series X does not come with Mario Kart World, so yeah, obviously the Switch 2 wins in that case. No, but seriously though, for a portable console that has ability to do 4K 120 FPS on the docked mode, and in handheld mode is 1080 60 FPS, I mean, maybe, along with the slightly better storage. Again, I don't understand why they only can do up to 256, but like, whatever. I'm not quite sure exactly how the Microsoft, like, fucking Xbox portable console is gonna go, especially if that actually is a thing and not just rumors. But just comparing this console with the Switch 1, I don't know if it's really worth the upgrade in some regards. Of course, Switch 2 games are going to be only played on Switch 2. People are just gonna buy it anyway, probably with Mario Kart, because, again, it's an actual game and you're saving like $30 if you buy it digitally. But, like, still, it's kind of just a meh kind of game console so far. As for the games itself, I understand that game development can be very pricey. The staff are overworked, they're underpaid, and, well, a bad game can mean a really bad turn for the company. That being said, the CEOs, like, you know, Nintendo should probably, you know, pay their developers a little bit more, because $90 for the physical version of Mario Kart is ridiculous. And the fact is that PlayStation and Microsoft are definitely going to look at this and be all like, oh, that's the industry standard now. We can definitely just charge $90 for physical games. It's like, oh my god, please don't. Please do not make this a trend in Nintendo, I swear to god. Shit's already annoying with $70 games, $80 games, $90 games. That's getting ridiculous. But Clark, games back then used to cost $100 in today's money and all that. I don't care. Like, and there's so many different games out there anyway. It's like, why would I spend my money on a AAA game when I could just buy indie? A lot of, like, third-party software companies also produce some quite bangers. So, like, I don't know. But more so, Nintendo than any other game company relies on their exclusives. And $90 for exclusives? Oh boy, that's gonna be fun. Especially when it's just a repackaged version of a Switch 1 game. Literally the cartridge of the Switch 1 and a download code. And that's gonna be worth $90 in store? Like, come on. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot to talk about these awful, awful box covers. Like, the Xbox One has a better version of this kind of console design. Like, don't get me wrong, the Switch 2's logo is a lot more vertical and all that than it is horizontal. But, like, cut your losses and just make it all horizontal. It looks so bad. Like, come on, man. Despite everything, though, there is still one thing I have to talk about when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2. One major flaw that I have with this console that the first one did and the second one is going to repeat. So here it is, the part of the video you've all been waiting for. This is a part that I feel like is the biggest problem with the Switch. Even more so than amiibo functionality, which I'll talk about in another video, but to put it bluntly, why the fuck does the Switch 2 have amiibo functionality? It should not have this fucking piece of shit attached to it ever again! Regardless, that's not what I was wanting to say. What I do want to talk about is lying, because people have been lying about the Nintendo Switch for years, and I hate it. I hate the fact that people just lie about this blatantly. The Nintendo Switch is not a portable console. Let me just go ahead and give you a visualization of how bullshit this statement is. This image showcases a Nintendo Switch, the original Nintendo Switch, which is smaller than the Switch 2, next to a Nintendo 3DS and my current phone, a Galaxy A15 5G. Obviously, it's quite big, but the thing is that you could still put it in your pocket. This is what it looks like when it's in your pocket. This console is not portable, not in the slightest. At least with the 3DS or your phone, it doesn't just jut out of your pocket like the Nintendo Switch does. Oh, but Clark, you just take the controllers off. Yeah, and just have them be fucking broken by the time you actually go do something. Good luck bending over at all. Oh, but Clark, you just bring the carrying case along with you. Yeah, make your pocket like the size of fucking Saturn, why don't ya? And it's either that or you bring it for an entire, if you bring like an entire bag just to friggin' carry the damn console. You have to bring a backpack for this thing. It's not a portable console. If you put this shit inside of your pocket, you are an insane person. And again, it's gonna get damaged if you have it in your pocket. And again, the Switch 2 is larger, so you're gonna need to buy a new fucking carrying case and all that shit. Because if you just throw it in your backpack, like let's say you're going to Universal Studios or Super Nintendo World or whatever, it's going to get like hurt. It's gonna get stolen probably. It's not gonna survive the trip most likely. And yes, the Nintendo Switch 2 does have a better Joy-Con grip, but I severely doubt that it's going to go that much better. Oh, but Clark, I'm a girl and I can carry it around in my purse. And it's just like, you're still invalidating the thing here, aren't you? God forbid that this console is actually portable and you leave it in your car and all that kind of stuff. It's like, no, you can't do that because, well, again, if it's like a family trip or something like that, you can't just bring it along with you. You have to carry it around. It is absolutely ridiculous. And a Nintendo 3DS, you just slip it in your pocket and you're off to go. I, as someone who carried around a Nintendo DS all their fucking childhood, the Nintendo Switch is not a portable console. What it is a clipboard. That's how portable this damn console is. And I hate the fact that everybody lies about this. Everybody lies, saying that this console is a portable console. No, it is not. Try going through airport security with this thing in your goddamn pocket. Yeah, try that, you dumbass. And what if you want to actually play more than one game card? Well, then I guess you're screwed unless you buy the stupid carrying case. Yeah, just why don't you shove it a fucking iPad mini in your pocket? See how well that goes. That's practically what the Nintendo Switch is, just a tiny little tablet with game controller just slapped onto the back of it. That's basically what the Nintendo Switch is, and yet people still call it a portable console. No, it is, again, about as comparable as a goddamn clipboard, because you can't just carry it around. Yeah, you can bring it around in your hands and all that just fine, but it's like, why would you ever take this anywhere? And God forbid you ever try and plug this damn thing in because you need to charge it. Oh my god, the battery life on the original Switch is so freaking bad and all that. Oh my god. Now, the Switch 2 does kind of fix this with the charging port on the top, but like, still, man, it doesn't necessarily solve the problem. But yeah, that's basically my dark past and my biggest gripe with the Switch that the Switch 2 is not going to fix. In fact, it's only made it worse by making the screen bigger. So in conclusion, what do I, an Xbox fan, have to say about a Nintendo console? I'm not going to buy it. I know, very astonishing revelation here, right here, folks. But let's be real here. I don't care, and hopefully this is my last time really talking about the Switch 2. Especially considering the fact that the current United States presidency has basically screwed up the pre-ordering for this damn console. Great job, man. Do I love politics so damn much? Man, it's definitely not just to the point where it's a detective trigger and all that, and I definitely don't want to, you know, just not, you know, whatever. But yeah, that's practically all I gotta say today. So, thank you for watching my late Nintendo Switch 2 discussion till the very end. Subscribe if you want to see more of these videos, and I'll see you all next time when I have more things and stuff to talk about. Thank you, bye.